What's up, guys? This is Corey with the Dirt City Gym, back with another deck profile for y'all. Today we're going to be looking at something a little bit new. It's a Dragon Ball Super trading card game. For those of y'all that are unaware, it was released about a week ago, maybe about 2 weeks ago, actually. But it's a new card game that I'm super excited for. I'm a big fan of Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super, all that good stuff. So I'm really looking forward for getting into and playing the game. It looks like it's going to be real fun. People are really excited about it. So I just wanted to kind of get out there, start getting some deck profiles going. Being that this game is so early, everything right now is a little bit of theory on, just kind of coming up with what we think is going to do well. There's not really a defined meta. I mean, there's not really a meta at all, actually. There's not been any real tournaments of notes or anything like that going on. So we're all kind of diving headfirst. So I just wanted to get out there, get some of my thoughts into what decks are going to do well and all that good stuff. So first up for today, we've got a Blue Critical Champa Deck, or Blue Crit Champa is what I've been calling it. But so the whole focus is we're using the Champa leader card, but what's a little bit different is that we're not using it in a red deck. It's for the most part a mono blue deck with just Champa in one or two red cards, really. So we're using Champa because Champa has the two really awesome abilities that I think work really well with the traditional critical Vegeta deck, just switching out the leader cards. So Unawakened Champa has the ability, once per turn, whenever one of your battle cards attacks a leader card, if that battle card has 15,000 attack or more, draw a card, which I think is really great. Being able to draw cards in this game is super crucial, especially when you can, for the most part, do it for free, which you can do with this Champa. Almost every single one of our primary attacking cards in this deck will fulfill that 15,000 attack requirement, so that's not something we really have to worry about. We can start doing this about as quickly as turn 3 really is when we can start dropping those attackers. This works really well with our criticals and everything like that, just being able to prevent them from drawing cards while we're still drawing cards. If we're going up against something like a Broly type deck, we're able to get, we're not as in as much trouble from them discarding our hands and things like that. So really strong ability in and of itself. And then whenever it awakens, the ability changes. Obviously, whenever it attacks, you get to draw a card, which is just about all the leaders, I believe, have that ability. But then it's got the new ability that you can discard a card from your hand, and you give either Champa or another one of your battle cards double strike until the end of the turn, which again works really well with our critical cards, especially being able to kind of get into that and forcing them to not being able to draw from their prizes while we're dealing that damage and all that good stuff. So I think Champa's a really good, regardless of whatever side it's on. Early game, obviously, being able to continually draw those cards into your hand is really strong, and then being able to late game kind of build up double strikers and start sweeping with that kind of stuff, I think works really well. So moving into the deck, first up we've got 4 Divine Aid Vados. This is our 0 combo 10,000 boost. So if we have 4 or less life, it starts giving a 10,000 boost combo. We also get to draw a card, so it replaces it in hand, which is really nice. Obviously, since we're running Champa, we have to run the red combo card that gives the 10,000 boost, and as opposed to like the Piccolo card that we would traditionally run when we're running like a normal Vegeta deck or a mono blue like Goku deck or something like that. So it is a trade-off. This isn't quite as good as the Piccolo card, I believe, but it still works really well. Next up, we've got 4 Objection. So this is 2-drop. We can take one card from our hand and put it into our energy. So we're starting to accelerate energy pretty quickly on turn 2, which is always really nice. Next up, we've got 3 Encouraging Presence Minoka. So this lets us, for a 1-drop, gives our leader double strike. So we can start late game using Champa to give our battle card double strike, and then we can start dropping Minogas to give Champa double strike. We also get to draw a card, which is really nice. Again, kind of with the theme of the deck, keeping our hand up and nice and all that kind of good stuff. Next up, we've got 4 Whis' Coercion. It's a 1-drop negate card. It's blue. We always want to have negate cards in our deck. They're always really strong. And so, on top of not just negating, we also get to untap one of our energy, so that's really good as well. Next up, we've got 4 Sun Goten, Family of Justice. This is a green card. We're never actually going to play this card. It's only for the combo. It's a 1-drop, 5,000 plus combo. And then whenever we play it, we can destroy one of our opponent's battle cards with a 3 cost or less. So being able to control that board a little bit is always really good. I think this is really kind of a staple card, majority of decks. Next up, we've got 4 Furthering Destruction Champa. Again, this is a 1-drop, 10,000 combo. It's a red card. We're never actually going to hard cast this, as we're only going to use it for the combo. But whenever we combo this, it gives one of our battle card double strike. So again, working with those criticals and stuff that we'll get into a little bit later. We've got our Leader Champa, late game, just manually giving double strike. Then we've got Furthering Destruction Champa that we're comboing into double strike, being able to really kind of take control of that board sweep late game. Next up, we've got 4 Energy Boosted Majin Buu, which I think is pretty much a staple in all blue type decks. It's a 1-drop. Whenever it comes into play, you draw a card. Again, always being able to get cards in hand. Even though we're playing one, we're getting one. So we're not really losing anything, but we're gaining an additional card in the hand that we didn't have previously. This also works for a 0-drop combo late game, whether we're just comboing from hand or comboing from the board. Next up, we've got 2 Bulma God Tempter. So whenever Bulma comes into play, it's a 1-drop. We get to search our deck for a Whis card with a energy cost of 4 or less and put it in our hand. We've only got really the one Whis card that we can find, but that's an energy accelerator, so it's pretty nice to have. And then mid-late game, Bulma's a really good 0-cost 5,000 boost from hand or board. So nothing bad there. Next up, we've got 3 Ultimate Judgment Jocko. So Jocko is a 5,000 boost, and then whenever we combo it, we're able to return one of our opponent's combo cards back into their hand, which is really nice, eliminating that combo boost that they would be getting while we're giving ourselves our own boost and just kind of messing up with their numbers, especially late game. Whenever your opponent's got a little strategy kind of built out, they've got to drop these cards in order to try to get knockouts or kind of sweep in game, things like that. We're able to kind of really mess with that whenever we drop this Jocko and kind of change kind of really the dynamic of whatever the attack phase and everything is going on at the time. So next up, we've got 4 Assailant Vegeta. Really, Vegeta is one of our primary, if not our primary attacker. So it's a 3-drop, 15,000 attack, and then it's got critical. So how critical works is normally whenever you attack a leader card and you win that attack, your opponent draws a prize card and puts it into their hand. Whenever you attack with a battle card with critical, instead of drawing that card, it goes straight to the discard pile. So we're eliminating that extra draw, so keeping us theoretically with that hand advantage where they can't keep drawing and things like that. So it's really strong. It's really the primary focus of the deck is just really attacking with a bunch of battle cards that have that critical, keeping them from drawing and all that kind of good stuff. So Vegeta is really our primary go-to for that. Next up, we've got 3 God Charge Vegeta. So it's 25,000 attack. It's a 6-drop. We can evolve it for 5, 3 blue, and 2 other. It's got dual attack, which lets it attack, untap, and then attack again. It's got critical as well, which again, going into that, critical is always really strong. It's got the auto ability whenever it comes into play. You can bounce back a blocker from your opponent's board. It's not super relevant. There's not a whole lot of blockers that you're really worried about, but it's another option for the card that, depending on this situation, could do really well. Being at 25,000, it's really hard to deal with already. If we're able to give this double strike later in the game, especially with the dual attack, God Charge Vegeta gets really difficult to deal with because every time you attack, you're double striking for 2 cards, then you get to untap and attack again on top of the critical. So theoretically, depending on how it goes, you could take 4 prize cards and send them straight to the discard pile with 1 God Charge Vegeta, which is really strong. He can start kind of sweeping things late game. Next up, we've got 4 Overflowing Spirit Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Son Goku. Really long name. So first up, he's a 4-drop, 15,000. He's got critical, which is again going with our primary attackers there with critical. Then he's got the permanent ability. As long as you have at least 5 energy on the board, he gets an additional 10,000 attack. So he's a 25,000 for 4-drop with coercion, or not coercion, with objection and Whis and things like that. We're able to get that energy out there to make sure he's a 25,000 as much as possible and early as possible. So again, going along with Vegeta, he's really strong, giving him double strike, things like that. With the critical, he becomes really hard to handle, especially early if you can get him out by like turn 3 or something like that. He's kind of a monster to deal with. Next up, we've got 3 energy boost Beerus. It's a 4-drop, 20,000 attack. He's got double strike. This is one of our attackers that doesn't have critical, but again, he's still pretty strong for 20,000 for 4. Then he's got the ability or the auto whenever he comes into play. If you have 5 or more energy, you can knock out one of your opponent's battle cards. So again, controlling that board a little bit. 20,000 is not a bad attack at all, especially for a 4-drop. Obviously, we want to make sure we have that energy in play whenever we drop him, but again, really good board control, just a really good card kind of moving forward. And then next up, we've got 3 Whis, the Resting Attendant. He's a 4-drop, 10,000. We're not ever really going to be attacking with Whis. He's got the ability auto whenever he comes into play. You take the top card of your deck and add it to your energy. So again, just a little bit more energy acceleration. If we can get it out at the right moments, it's really good just getting that extra acceleration. Then whether he's on the board or from your hand, he's a 1-drop or 1-cost 10,000 combo boost. So again, really strong just in that we're never really going to attack with Whis. I mean, if we absolutely have to, we can, but for the most part, we're using it for the energy acceleration and then for the later combo. And then finally, we've got Beerus, General of Demolition. He's a 7-drop, 25,000. So pretty expensive, but he's really kind of a late game kind of sweeper. So he's got triple attack. So whenever he attacks, he takes 3 prizes as opposed to 1, or life points, whatever you want to call it. And then he's got the ability, whenever he attacks a leader, the other player may discard 2 cards from their hand. If they don't, then you return all their energy and battle cards to their hand. So we're really putting them in a compromising position between our criticals and double strikes and dual attacks and everything like that. Early game, we're kind of controlling their hand size, keeping them where they're not getting additional cards as much as possible. And then whenever we come into the Beerus, we're putting them in a really awkward situation where hopefully their hand isn't super big. We're dropping Beerus a little bit later after we know they can't do much. They've had to lower their hand to combos from earlier and things like that. Then we drop the Beerus, sweep with him, and if they can't do anything, drop those cards or whatever it is, then he's kind of going to take over the game from that point. So again, he's really our closer. He's that trump card. We're going to kind of hold him in our hand. We're going to swing early with other things like that, then drop him, swing, and just kind of have him scoop at that point, ideally. But anyway, guys, that is the deck list. Let me know what y'all think about it down below. Be sure to leave a like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Let me know what cards y'all would add, what cards y'all would take out, what cards you're super excited from this set, what decks you're planning on running, and all that good stuff. But that's all we got for y'all, guys. So we will see y'all next time.